Okay, so like last time, we want to think in the big shapes first.
Yeah.
Shadow shapes. This is all kind of one big mass as
Yeah.
well. We got, the rest is kind of a plain background, which is easy. Another large shape.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I know, like the photo reference, the shadows being cast and stuff are really, really dark, and you
Uh-huh.
could do them that way. Um, but I don't, because it's a beach scene and it's light and airy and, all a lot of reflecting colors and sands, and everything. And I want to have it lighter and brighter. So like
Right.
last week when we painted the background or, the big shapes we started with quite a bit of the darker colors, and a darker part of the palette. But
Yeah.
this time I don't want to go that dark. But again, I'll get myself like a little road map here
Yeah.
to figure out kind of where, I like that they're kind of like compositionally, I like that they're kind of pushed up at the top here.
Uh-huh.
And you have kind of this interesting empty space here. Anyway, so I'm going to get a feel for like how much space they're going to take up in here.
Uh-huh.
Um, So that's kind of the first thing, because if you start with just a figure and you end up kind of,
Right.
it might be too small. So I'm looking
So
again
big.
at this
Yeah.
whole shape
Yeah.
for, some, I like that also that she kind of comes off the edges. Oh, and it comes down to, oh yeah, maybe kind of right in there somewhere. And it's, if I took my brush or tool and kind of figured out where sort of a halfway mark, if I did that,
Yes.
her back does come out over halfway. So if I feel like that's halfway, make sure she's over here far enough. And again, seeing this whole thing as these big shapes, all one big shape instead of trying to draw all the limbs and get all, you're just going to spend so much time worrying about every little
Details.
detail. Um, that and it's going to be more awkward looking. It is kind of an awkward pose. So we want to
Uh-huh.
minimize that as well by joining these together here. So there's kind of and then I want to figure out how much space between her and the little toddler. Um, and then how much space, does the toddler fill up here? Um, and just kind of try to average like where,
Yeah. The height of the
his
yeah.
head is just slightly under her head there.
Mm.
So I know it goes up to about there.
Yeah.
And again, not finding all the little tiny differences between an arm and a leg and a hat and a head um, just yet. Okay. And you can always exaggerate things too. Like, maybe we'll make the towel a little bigger or something.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and while I've got my brush pretty wet, I'm kind of finding these deep shadows right now as well. And it's very thinned down. Um, and that'll help me keep the shadows light as well. I don't, like I said, I don't want to get into them real dark.
Too dark. Yeah.
Um, and then there's kind of a difference already, like, because where she is on the towel. So maybe I'll change that up just a little to remind myself. I'm still keeping it pretty watered down. Got a lot of juice in the brush. And again, just kind of keeping her all as one
Uh-huh.
mass. I might find the little hot pink shorts. Go ahead and pick up a little red or scarlet. Again, not finding edges, not messing with that. There's kind of think she's holding an infant, so there's a little dark head in there. I just want to make a note, kind of where it is. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's fairly dark, but I'll make it a flesh tone, but I'm still gonna kind of keep it well shadowed. And so all of this is just kind of preliminary mark making to help me
Right.
find the figure a little bit, but without spending much too long drawing it out and getting tight and lots of little lines everywhere and feeling very forced to stay within those lines. Okay, so then let's see. Oops. Using actually in the shadows, I'm using a lot of my King's Blue there because there's just that's could even get into some of the turquoise a little bit. They're in white, but they're radiating such nice blues. Still just,
Yeah.
again, finding some of the lines and making sure. I feel like I might have had him pushed too far over. Let's see, if that's her head. Okay. No, I think her head is maybe low. I need to raise that up a bit.
Mm.
And so this way you can easily just manipulate
Yeah.
things and I'm, not feeling like, oh, I can't. Okay, there, I feel like the scale is better. I got some of that ponytail, I think. Okay. Yeah. All right. And if I wanted to find that more accurately, I can come in here too to, with a little, just a little to remove like, and check my scale and drawing that way. Okay. Now back to the little one over here. So this is the hat. There's a little face under there.
Mm. Yeah. Cute.
And then let's see, there's that one. I don't know. It's hard to, it's the photo. Well, it was actually one of my students shared this with me.
Oh.
And it came off the phone and was small and I enlarged it a bit to get it to print big enough. Um,
Mm.
so it's kind of, and the printer, again, like I said, all these shadows, everything is really dark. Um, we want some darks in it, of course, but in fact, I might have went a little dark in there. I'm going to take some of that back out. And remembering my light shadow there, see, I was forgetting how light and high key I want to make this. Okay, so let's see a little better. Maybe I can bring some of the blues into this now. Okay, might not want to go much darker than that. And then let's see, figure out this umbrella here a bit. And with this, we could get a bit more creative. I don't know, let's see. It almost feels like it's striped, but it's just a black umbrella with the light
Uh-huh.
hitting the center panel that's making
Yeah.
it very reflective feeling. But okay, why is my blues? Oh, it's kind of just stiff, I think. Keep trying to get in there, but it doesn't want to. And again, holding the brush loose at the end,
Yeah.
trying to have a gentle touch,
Uh-huh.
not get caught up in too many hard edges or anything yet. Funny little. Okay. we're finding it here. I think that's gonna work. Okay. It looks like, I don't know if you remember the little Holly Hobby dolls.
No.
They wore those kind of funny little bonnets.
Oh, cute. Like that one.
Yeah. And again, just, now I'm just starting to add a little bit more color. Um, and that's just that pure radiant turquoise right now, even trying to find. And again, little kind of cross hatch marks.
Uh-huh. Different direction.
Yeah, keeping the edges real, real loose. Keep it open. Oh, there's a little bag here too. This is where, we could get more playful and figure out, I don't know, what colors. Maybe more of a hot pink. Ooh, that is well, it was hotter on the palette. Doesn't look so bright up there. And then this will be fun too with these little
Oh, that's
tools are kind of laying in here somewhere.
what are those?
I think little shovels.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. This needs a little bottom and a little shadow that comes down. It kind of joins the baby's head. So there's really actually that all goes behind her face too.
What is that then?
I think just like a beach bag,
Ah,
tote
okay.
bag kind of thing. All right, now if I come up real light, let's see. So I'm going to
I
quickly get into the light, and opaque colors,
uh-huh.
um, because it's going to be a high key thing. Um, that is not a real pretty color as of yet. All right, so let's see. Oh, back here, there's kind of some towel in the sun. And again, trying to not overmix colors on the palette as I bring things together.
Uh,
Oh, I guess, yeah, he's kind of sitting on the edge of the towel. Maybe it comes up here a bit. We'll find edges as we get further into it. I like to start loose so I can just build up to those, get a lot of loose color in it first, and then I can, come back in and start to define things if I wanted, say. Okay.
but the first painting, the first lesson that we did, I
Yeah.
didn't see any edges in your painting.
Well, there weren't many.
Oh, there
For
were.
sure
Okay.
in that, because it was so, it's just botanical, right? So, I guess there probably were a little bit of things maybe at the edge of, say, the pedestal or something.
Yeah,
It must
yeah,
have had a
yeah.
little bit. Oh, where was I? Oh, over
It's
here.
a very solid structure, so
Yeah, but in that case, I definitely wanted to keep things a lot looser um, and not really have hard or rigid edges. I mean, there's even, I don't know, I guess the sort of saying you hear people say is, there are no hard edges in nature, right? even
yeah,
even
that's true.
man-made. But
Except for the
just
pedestal. Yeah,
to remind ourselves, I guess, here's the last
yeah,
week. Yeah, and even, I guess even on all this, it's kind of there's some in and out and,
yeah. In and out.
strokes disappearing and I guess it was just the nature of it there to not be too rigid,
Uh,
and to, yeah. and sometimes maybe you can have it almost too loose. But I think it helps to have, I think there's an all over looseness,
Uh-huh.
but there's also like a focal point. I think sometimes if it's just absolute all over looseness and there's nowhere really to look or for your eye to rest. But in here, I feel like this is all, there's a little bit more change. There's a lot more layers and texture. There's the bright color and the
Uh,
contrast of the pinks and the greens. And so I feel like, my eye is really drawn there. And a lot of these, I didn't even think about this, but a lot of these lines and the
right.
shapes pull you into that. Even these are kind of coming into that area. So everything is kind of leading you there, which I didn't even notice when I painted it, that
Uh-huh.
that was happening. Um,
Okay.
so I think that, and then, so there's different techniques. Kwang Ho especially talks about the many um, ways to go about a painting, and some is, line, tonal focus painting, um, a color focused painting, and one style would be equalization, is what he talks about, where it's kind of everything is equally developed and equally,
Uh-huh.
you know, painted and I guess general, almost kind of more abstract. If you think like
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock, there's a good equalization example. There's a T there. Wet my whistle. Okay. Well, I like the palette and the colors that I've got happening here, and it is light and it's loose still. Um, so yeah, now it's just, and I was seeing, like, that's probably a little bit overkill on the pink there, but I kind of saw it happening on his shirt, and I guess we're getting, these colors reflecting a bit. So I went ahead and made that note. Um, let's see, her shorts are certainly a color I don't think I have in tube or in nature.
Yeah.
So I'll just make some strokes of color and oh yeah, I was kind of working on just getting his head face maybe happening. And then the rest, so and again, these things are kind of fuzzy edged and large and over painted and that's okay because when I find the background and start that, then we make these kind of little corrections of shape and form
Okay.
so they'll look properly human. I'm gonna make a little note of. So now and once because I look at things like only as
Shape.
shapes at first and kind of how one connects and leads you to another. I don't at first notice. I just knew that all of this was in shadow. Now I'm seeing the shape of his shirt. I guess he's got a little white t-shirt on too here. So okay, making a note of that now that's there
Oh, yeah, the baby. Another baby.
and let's see. I guess for now, what would be the next best thing to deal with? I mean, maybe the sand, because that would fill it all in, and then I can from there start to, refine. I'll get all the, let's see. I want to get this intersection. His head's a little big. Okay, there we go. I think that's the right scale. Um, funny. Still hear him going off.
Do you still use the round brush to sketch?
I haven't used the round brush as much.
Oh, I remember. I don't.
Lately. I know for a period I went through,
You said that it's your workhorse.
yeah, using it almost exclusively, and now I haven't really picked it up and used it that much. Um, and for a long time, well, often I think what I ended up doing actually was switching to the Egbert.
Egbert,
which is
yeah.
similar. You get that, um, long tapered
Yeah,
ends, and it kind of gets round, but it also can, splay out, and
true. Yeah, true.
so I've kind of moved into doing that more than the round. I guess it's a bit more flexible, and so again, in the beginning, say of paintings, when you don't want to get
Too
locked
tight,
down
yeah.
too fast, you can use a floppy brush like that. Okay, I wanted to carve like she's sitting more upright, but then I realized I think I carved off too much because she's also got some reflecting light on the back, but okay. And it's okay sometimes too to have lines and,
Yeah.
like Van Gogh, of course, always had outlines almost essentially. And I like that look a lot. In things, I don't do it. I guess, it's just something I haven't done, but I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's a shadow and oops, need it to be more shadow color. I think I'll leave some of the, like just right up at the bottoms. Maybe these will be a little darker, but maybe not that dark. I want to be sure I get the light everywhere. Okay. Okay. All right, I think I will have to move into some sand and ground color.
Okay.
So probably just picking, you know, my orange, yellows, a lot of white, tint the white with these pinks, yellows, even some blue, um, and kind of try to load it up. And you can see there, it definitely has more than just one color in it.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, is it you're blocking it with colors, and is it also possible if, for example, I block it with um, the the color that I use to sketch?
Yeah, some people will do that. You mean more like a with the tones, say, instead
Yeah,
of, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. I just kind of, I guess, feel like that for me, that's a step that I don't need or want to take. It like adds another step to the process.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because you're
Um,
an expert. Because I
but I
was thinking
know,
if I do directly the color, I might get lost.
yeah, yeah, I
So I
guess
do
I
the
try to go
same.
in as I intend to finish, and just go ahead and block the colors in. And then that way, when I'm
Yeah, yeah.
adding two things and oops, then I can, it keeps developing and I'm adding on top of the color layers, and therefore I end up getting more color overall into the
Oh,
painting. Let's see, I feel like this should have some shift, and maybe I'll go a little darker down here. But yeah, I mean, some people do. I have a couple of students too that I can't seem to break them out of the habit of putting their darks kind of everywhere, or
uh-huh.
like even a middle value or something, and then and I'll be like, well, you lost your lights here, you didn't leave. Oh, I'll put them on. But I think what happens in those cases too is if you're not careful when you layer those lights on,
Uh-huh.
then and if you keep petting, say like some people want to put the stroke on and then they correct it and then they do this and then it blends down, you know. But if you take, if I wanted to put a highlight on that and I, load my brush up and I lay it on very lightly and don't keep touching it, that, it stays then. So, but they have the problem of not using enough paint and not leaving it alone. So if they keep doing that, now that light's gone and it's, basically So you just have to be careful about that when you start to layer on the
Uh-huh.
lights, make sure you're getting them light enough. Um,
Okay. The reason I think I'm also guilty of that because the reason that we don't put enough paint is sometimes we're testing it. We're
yes,
testing it.
right. I
Yeah, we're not
understandable.
really
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, not an expert in color mixing, so we're testing it, and then
Well, that's okay. Yeah,
yeah,
test for sure. But then, go if you like it, then go make a big
yeah,
load and put it on there.
yeah, yeah.
You
That
can
should be
see
the
he's got roughed up sand around him a little bit. I'll have to figure out. I didn't really finish finding his legs and stuff, but okay. So yeah, and I think I'll get lighter in the background, maybe just because it kind of is burning out, say, or it gets, maybe the blurring, say, of our view and where we're looking and where the light's hitting.
and
So I think I'll just,
I noticed your color palette are mostly transparent,
yeah, it's
but
still, that was quite thin for all of the start.
so that's thin. That you're doing now is thin.
No, now I'm definitely using just the pure paint. So
And
basically, I'm not adding any medium.
did you change your brush?
No.
Oh, so that is my problem with the first painting, first assignment because I felt like, oh my God, it's so thin. And I thought I remember I wiped it, but as I put the colors, it feels so, it's not solid looking. It's kind
Yeah,
of, I don't know. Just
got to use enough paint. Like I'm loading up just the pure, I haven't added any medium. This is just straight out of the tube as
a
I mixed
pure
it.
color. Even if it's transparent, you have, you have to load it.
Yeah, well, if it's transparent, you can see here that's still all very transparent. You can see the
Right.
strokes um, and these are all still transparent. I mean, I'll start to build up on those now. I just, that was the first stage, and I usually always go thinner in the first stage, and then I'll, um, start to get more opaque and thicker. Uh, okay, so at least the board's covered. It
Uh,
looks reasonably like people sitting on a sand. So here we have, our start. Everything's covered.
blocked.
Yeah, blocked in everything. Now I'm still thinking just by shape, like I'm not gonna draw and carefully paint
Yeah.
edges yet. I'm just gonna kind of try to, you know, tell myself, looking at like this wedge there, this little crescent shape. Well, what is that? What shape? How do I make it? And then put it on.
Yeah.
And let's see, there's the light version of that. So basically, I'm kind of still working in two values right now, you could say, like light and shadow, just separating those. That even gets pretty darn light with maybe a hint of yellow in it. Um, Maybe that too. Part of that. And again, like if it looks too choppy and stuff later, we can come back with a brush or our fingers or and smudge and try to
Uh-huh.
knock things back down a little. Let's see. Oh, there's some. So I'm going to find his shoulder. That does not look right. There we go. That's a little better. um, the shape of the hat actually kind of comes down a bit more. Whoops. I think I lost some of the light on it. But okay, that's better. Okay, and then he's got light on his shoulder. So now I'm just kind of letting the
Uh-huh.
letting one thing lead to another and just, again, making a note of this or that kind of shape or um, he's getting some reflecting light down there. And across this, I think I got, like I said, that there's that reflecting light, but I do feel like it got a little too bright reddish kind of. So I want to try to fix that. Oops, now I lost the light on his shoulder. A lot of fun light reflecting in there though.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now I need to, it's got to be a little darker on the shoulder up here. All right. Okay, let's find his little bottom. And that does just completely, like I cannot see any difference in the shadow
Right.
in this pant
The
thing
pan.
there. So I
pan.
really do have to guess or let it be just loose. I think his shadow,
Yeah.
I kind of shortened his shadow, it looks like a bit. So at least at the edges here, bring it out a little bigger. And I'm still using the bigger brush just to keep myself, loose enough.
How big?
This
6?
one is a 6, yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Boy, if I pick up that red, it really is kind of overpowering. Oh, that's that. Yeah, that was that Michael Harding. It's pretty intense. Not used to it.
The red?
Let's see. All right, I'm trying to find this. Let's see. So there's kind of an interesting shadow here that is telling me something or helping to find. So that's what I'm trying to somewhat accurately make note of. Okay. Yeah. And then his arm looks quite blue, really. Must be the light again reflecting, or the photo print. But sometimes those oddities in pictures or something the camera does is kind of fun to
Did, did
play
you
with.
uh, did you adjust the color or?
I did not. Now
Oh,
this
so
was,
how do
oops.
you find pictures like that? Like it's kind of bluish, and it also kind of it suits the where they are because the sky is blue, so it's kind of reflecting on.
Yeah.
How did you find pictures like that? It
Well,
just
again, this was my students. Either her, I think it was
oh,
her nephew or is it her nephews or great nephews or children or something. And they're
uh,
on actually the coast. She gets some of these cool shots that she's let me borrow, which I don't normally do at all, but because I
uh-huh.
always like to take my own stuff. But I mean, these are so cute, and they're on this Washington coast. Like you don't get in the water there, apparently. Um, but they have these long, crazy long beaches, and the light is kind of neat and stuff. And I don't know, and of course, I love to paint kids on beaches, so
Right.
when I've seen those of hers, I'm like, hey, I'd love to paint that. So I'm not going to spend a long time defining everything up in here. I'm just, making little notes
Mm-hmm.
to break up some of the shadow shapes. Actually, this one could be a little bigger, and then I'll add that back in. And I'm kind of weird. I like the shapes of shadows are kind of what interests me almost more than
Is
the
the
real
shadow.
shapes, and I I did for a while, I did a whole series of like, people looking at art in museums. Um, and so that was, again, it was oftentimes the people's shadows like uh, falling on the wall that I found interesting.
Yeah,
Kind
shadows.
of weird.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna make this kind of a bright pink right now because I need it. It's kind of blended in with the sand. I want it to be light enough because it's okay. Maybe that. Okay, so
I
I'm
probably,
making my shadows just a little thicker here, or I mean, I should say the paint is. I'm getting a little bit more paint on in the shadows. I guess because I'm also I guess I'm trying to define the little towel in here that she's
uh-huh.
sitting on. Just slightly. Uh, whoops. And then let's see. So that color was, well, it's lighter in the corner here. Getting a little reflecting light, maybe.
What do you use for the reflecting light? Is it just the titanium zinc?
Well, now I'm pulling in the colors that I'm seeing there, or I feel like are sitting in there. So it definitely, actually, I think she's even on an orange and white striped towel now that I'm looking
Uh-huh.
uh, closer. So maybe I'll play with that.
So what is the mixture? Is it the titanium zinc or
Yeah, it's with my color. Um,
oh you
still,
mix? Oh, okay.
yeah, just trying to suggest some of these stripes here, maybe kind of fun. I don't know. And it might look awkward. It's wrinkles in towels always, or other such always take a little bit of finessing. It's kind of like back and forth. Do this and then take it out and then do it again and then.
Uh,
Okay, so maybe if I need to clean the brush off really because I'm getting a white in there and I don't want it too white it's still in shadow, so I don't want it to be
You
jumping
use
out.
you use Gamsol to clean or just
Yes.
wipe? Oh, Gamsol, okay.
Yeah, the
And then
Gamsol.
just wipe it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Come on. Whoops. Okay. I want the edge to kind of have that, ruffled appearance and maybe get some of the idea of the shadow under the
Yeah.
edge. So just kind of dragging it along a little. All right. And now, oops. Well, not getting the light part back in it. All right, that's better. All right, that's, I think, good enough for now on that. I don't want to labor it too long or then it'll be developed more than anything else, or it might look awkward with the rest. So moving on to, let's find her now, the bottom part of her here. If I squint, her leg and her arm just do totally disappear together.
Yeah. Just one.
But I want to differentiate a bit. At least that upper portion. Okay. pink shorts here.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, it could be awkward looking to try to paint, the shorts here and the towel and the, meeting of all of this. So it's, again, losing edges and keeping things real soft.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's going to make your job a lot easier. Well, that bit there. Okay, so I need to bring probably a little darker shadow. Whoops, too dark. Okay, I think it's reading all right. There's kind of a little light there. Okay. Gotta get some of the warmth down here.
Yeah.
A little too warm, but there we go. Just add that. And then, yeah, this leg is a bit cooler. So I'm trying to compare everything because first they're kind of the big mass or the big shape. Now I'm looking for the more subtle things that are going to, differentiate the left leg from the right. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
this one's got a bit more of the blue in it. So I'm trying to capture that. Whoops. Obviously not mixing a lot. My brush is kind of being weird. Okay, and then, yeah, this ankle, I think, goes further. And there's kind of a shoe. So all these little things. Okay, there we go. Just get the angle of that right. And then we got to get this kind of angle of the calf there. Okay. Now I'll switch back to the light, sunlight on the leg. And it kind of has an edge where that umbrella is casting that shadow.
Uh-huh.
And I've lightened the sand so much back there, I need to make sure I get enough light on her. That's working, I think. Okay. There's just a little hint of like on that knee there. I don't know, somewhere in here her hand, I think, disappears. Holding baby, so okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, just adding a little color here and there.
Yeah. It's nice. Very
Whoops,
nice.
that was too much. Maybe I'll just try to carve it down just a smidge. There we go. Take a little off of that, and that might work better. Okay. now. So that connects us to the, the start here. Um, of the bag.
Yeah.
And then the little tiny head hidden in there. And again, her face, I think probably the black umbrella is what's casting all this blue
Yeah. Darker.
up here. So profiles are hard, and she's got a funny angle.
Mm. It's like trying to kiss or what's that?
Yeah, or she's Okay, so let's see. So her hair's darker there.
Her hair and her face almost one.
Yeah, it definitely is dark. And then, of course, the umbrella covers
Right.
part of that. So, oops. No, that's right. Okay, I think I have the child's head really big. And hers maybe isn't still big enough. I don't know. Darn, I liked that little bit of blue that was there. Put it back. Okay. Just has kind of a bit of neck. Okay. I think
Yeah.
we'll have to switch to a smaller brush to finish her off in that section. So I think let me work on the umbrella, which I think I'm gonna bring in the
Blue.
real bright blue, maybe even add a little phthalo to it, maybe something to play with, add a different color to it. And that's maybe gets a little more beachy feeling with the colors. And then let's see, we got the real bright section. Well, the topmost bit's very bright. Ah,
Yeah. You no.
eh, it kind of works. Let me step
Yeah.
back. Yeah, I think it's okay. There's kind of a funky little. I need to kind of play with this edge a bit just to be sure I've got it where I want it. Oops. Don't know what I hit there. Okay, that's a little better. May end up softening those up a bit. That looks a little too chunky. Okay. So really we're kind of narrowing in on it. Try to find that spot of sand. Oh, like I said, yeah, I probably need to get the darn it. Huh, it just won't brighten up in there. This is where I might need to remove a little paint just to get that glow I want to happen there. Now we'll see. Okay. Um, Trying to find some of the contours again, but keeping it loose. I like still, I guess I like effects too, where I get some of these swooping edges coming off, um, because I guess it feels almost like there's movement and maybe there's wind in the air a little bit, and so I like that effect sometimes. Okay, so I might bring some blues. There's a lot of light on that, but I think because I want to have this look like towel down here, I'm going to add some of the blue and orangey colors. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to worry about what that thing is back there too much. All right. I think I'll get a smaller brush out and work on kind of her features and profile a bit here in the little baby's head. So there's like a little, whoops, wow, it's a lot of light reflecting. There, maybe. I want you to see him, so again, a little bit of light there. Okay. Okay. Now, moving on to her features a bit more. So her ear is kind of way up here. And I think she's got sunglasses on too, which could be fun to play with.
Oh, she did.
Whoops. All right, getting close, getting close. I don't know what time
You
it
can
is.
hear me, right?
12:30. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Whoops. Okay, so just, trying to put enough light back here to help figure out where her features are. Maybe it's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a funny little spot in
Position.
there, that I can't even really see what I'm not making sense right now, but it's like it's uh, too hard an angle to try to see the negative space, say, from the positive.
Uh-huh.
I guess is what I'm
Yeah, understand.
to see if does it look like she's a person? Okay, I think that's looking probably a little better.
Yeah,
Um,
she's looking down at the baby.
Maybe a little more forehead and get the light to, okay. Um, Just kind of maybe this cheek keep coming out. I know, this might be getting too much light. Okay, maybe now the opposite, we'll do work with the hair a bit to figure out its position and the ear position enough to. Okay. I like the cheek there now for sure, so let's soften and blend that a bit more to help. All right,
That's nice now.
stepping back. Yeah, okay, I think it's reading okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe I got too much light on further back on the forehead. The middle on there. I don't know. Okay, maybe. Now I need to depict her nose, I think, better to connect it down and have a little shadow to hold the glasses on. This is pretty important. Now I've lost the glasses a little, so we'll try to. Okay. Only a bit there. Okay. Maybe that's enough to. Alrighty. Well, I feel like it's probably reading okay-ish.
Yes, it is.
So now I'm kind of, come to a point where it's like, okay, I probably am close to finishing, the session essentially. Maybe I would continue, maybe I won't. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay. Oh, I want to get
Yeah,
cute,
it's very
cute
good.
little tools down there. And then sometimes I like to also come in with the beach, and there's kind of like you can see footprints all around, but oftentimes there's like,
Oh,
just divots and dips. And so I want to, make some marks for that, like where there's been some roughness in the sand. Same even up here, a little smaller perhaps, just to add some more texture and vitality throughout.
yeah.
And again, there's probably also, also some areas could, maybe that's pushed up over that and catching a little more light. So, just things like that as you add more textures, more
Texture.
info, and play a little more with it. And you can, we could always play and soften edges and put even like a little highlight color around the edges, say, of the, maybe that. Oh, there's the little tassel like from the umbrella. Um, because it's falling on
Is
the
that
sand
just
too.
it's you
Sorry.
put the blue over the shadow just to unify the look, okay?
Just, at the edges, kind of to have a little transitional color or step between the deeper shadow and
Okay.
and actually now I'm seeing Of course I made it green up there, but suddenly I feel like I'm seeing this greenish blue teal, whatever, down in the shadow here. So I'm gonna add that in a bit and pop some of that down there too.
Yeah.
Still thin, we're still keeping the shadow kind of thin. Okay. And let's see. I guess if I want to be real correct, I could kind of fix that shadow. Oh, and I didn't really mess with the feet area and stuff out here. I mean, it's so far off maybe I'll just sort of correct that part. Um, okay, is there anything really glaring out at me? Oh, I wanted to put his little tools. There's that tag that's the tabby thing or whatever to tie the umbrella. So I've got it down here in the sand and I've got it up there. Silly little details that probably nobody would would think twice about or notice. Just playing with some edges here. Okay. Now, his little bright orange tools want to get in there. Um, Crazy bright.
Mhm. Nice.
And they're kind of even day glow in the shadow, but there we go. This is the kind of fun stuff too. It's like, I think I have that one in the wrong spot, but I'll just move it up or down to fit. Okay. So he's got his little scoops. Um, let's see. I didn't spend a lot of time finding his shapes and stuff. Well, I got it in there. Sorry, I need to fix just a bit of that. Oh, and then
What's the size of your panel?
this
9 by
is,
12
I think,
or?
11 by 14, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Oh, and they need shadow too. That was the last thing I just noticed. I was like, oh, they've got to have some shadows under them. It kind of comes out farther. Little wedge there. Well, I rather like it.
It is very nice.
Her hair might stick out a bit much, but because it's kind of lost against the sand, it doesn't really matter. Let's see. I'll give her a nice. There's definitely some fringy kind of area here. Getting a lot of highlight, but I'm not getting enough on there. Okay. I think I'm about done with what I want to say with this, honestly. Only thing I
Yeah,
don't
very.
know about, maybe is the bag back there. Um, I don't know. Can't decide if I like it or not. But for now, I think I'm leaving it alone.
Yeah, it's very nice.
All right. Yeah, I don't know that I would do a whole lot more with this. And if you were my husband now, you'd be laughing like, I always do that and say, "Oh, I'm almost done. Or 10 more minutes." And then it's like, he's like, "Is
You
that
keep switching.
10 minutes for real time or, you know, 45 minutes later when it's like, oh,